We have joining us this afternoon, Laurie Buckhout. She is a Republican candidate seeking the nomination. And with that, Laurie, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Outstanding and pleasure. And so as we begin the program, where do we find you today? We're talking to you by phone, of course, but where might you be?
You find me literally at my kitchen table in Edenton, North Carolina, overlooking the Albemarle Sound.
Wow. Beautiful area.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Let's talk about the campaign. How's it going for you? It's, you've done this before. This is not your first rodeo, as they say. You ran for this, you ran for what was originally the original District 1 back in 2024. How's this campaign working out in light of the fact that there's been a small adjustment in the geography of District 1? I say small with the tongue-in-cheek.
Last time it was a virtual toss-up. It was kind of a 50-50 thing. But I found myself in a Democrat district, redistricted in from a Republican one, and I said to myself, "There's just no way I'm going to endure that." And it was Don Davis, and I'm still under Don Davis. Still don't love it, and decided to run. So worked our butt off on that one. A third party came in sort of at the last minute, funded by the Democrats, and they did it across 4 states, and I was one of them. So we made the Democrats spend $20 million to try to take me out. We ended up losing by 1.5 points. And then Trump called me and asked me to come serve in the administration, which was amazing. So this race, having more of the great citizens from down south and Carteret, Craven, Beaufort, et cetera, is it's a delight. So we're having a great time.
All right, let's talk about Laurie Buckhout. Background: you're from Virginia originally, but now living in North Carolina. Your curriculum vitae, as they say, your background.
Absolutely. Okay, so born and grew up in Virginia on a cattle farm in the Shenandoah Valley, just over the border there, and then took an ROTC scholarship to go to school. Lifelong Republican. Ronald Reagan was my first vote ever, which is a very cool thing to be able to say. My parents are Republican, et cetera, et cetera. Did a 26-year Army career, regular Army, stationed all over the world. Married along the way to a West Point graduate, Paul Buckhout. We've been married for 30 years plus. He's a former Delta guy, infantryman, and just, my rock. We have 2 boys, both, let me think, both Eagle Scouts. One turns 24 today. He's in law school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the other is 26. He's in grad school. Eagle Scouts, great kids, conservative Republicans, and gave birth to boys, and they're still boys. You know what I mean? So, hey, that's how we roll around here.
No confusion in your household.
There's no confusion at all in this household. Yeah. So, yep. Came back from Iraq, got assigned to the Pentagon, retired there, and got here as soon as we could. My husband and I both spent time at Fort Bragg coming up, and we always knew this was going to be our lifelong home.
Laurie Buckhout with us this afternoon, again, candidate for seeking the Republican nomination for U.S. Congressional District 1, the newly created U.S. Congressional District 1, which makes up, I think it's 23 counties, if I'm not mistaken. And Laurie, let's talk about your background and how it would appeal to the constituents in those 23 counties. United States Army, your area signals, if I'm not mistaken, but also cybersecurity. That was your job at the Department of War now. It used to be the DOD. But how does this all fit into your ability and expectations as a future representative?
Well, for starters, I've kind of had a lifetime of service, and so has my husband. My parents did. They were both military. We like to serve, but I'm a mom and a wife, so I think that's pretty relevant to a whole lot of folks. Served for 26 years in the military, very honorably, did well, retired as a colonel. I know how to work. I know how to commit. I'm a fighter. I don't back down. I'm used to standing up for things and being pretty much fearless. When I retired from the Army, we started a very successful business. So, I signed the front and the back of a check. Mm-hmm. We didn't come from money. We're self-made. So very, very familiar with folks who, have to struggle. And we are a working family. So we feel very tied to the folks across Eastern North Carolina and the working families across Eastern North Carolina. We're looking at things like making sure folks have health care. We're looking at bringing more jobs. I've been a jobs creator, employed over 150 folks when we were running the business, most of them veterans, and most of those, wounded warriors or disabled in some way. So we're used to lifting things up. We're used to serving. It makes us happy as a family. Like I said, both my boys are Eagle Scouts. My husband's a career military as well. And we feel comfortable serving. Frankly, I think we're good at it. And I like to fight. So I'm ready to get up there and fight for the people of Eastern North Carolina. And, have somebody get up there who really cares about the district, who's got some energy, who's willing to stand up for the folks across the district. And, willing to push the America First agenda without compromise. I think that's where we need to be.
Okay, you mentioned America First. Very quickly, your thoughts on the President's State of the Union speech. We won't get into that. I don't want to belabor that question, but I'm just curious your thoughts about that speech last night.
He hit it out of the park. Okay. It was a long hit. It was a lengthy hit. but he hit it out of the park, I loved it. Right. So, it was a lengthy hit.
It was. All right, let's talk about, again, you and your campaign. Let's talk here for a moment about the environment that you would be representing, particularly Eastern North Carolina, Northeastern North Carolina, and unfortunately renowned as a relatively economically distressed region of the state. What skills do you what attributes do you bring to the table that will assist? And let's talk about that in relationship to, say, affordable housing, things of this nature. How do you approach that?
Well, for starters, what we really are missing across the district, we're missing jobs across the district. And that impacts the economy in just 1,000 different ways. You need working families. You need folks who are willing to build an infrastructure. So I am a jobs creator. I understand the economic environment well. I have fought to build a business myself. And I know what you need. We need somebody in Congress who's willing to go up and bring jobs to the district and bring commerce to the district, bring business to the district, who understands the criticality of it. This district's been Democrat for over 140 years. Mm-hmm. You've never had a jobs creator. You've never had a jobs champion. Instead, the Democrats have been watching jobs decline and plants close and doing nothing about it and being happy just to, have more folks out of work. So I think that's one of our biggest priorities right there. I know that's in President Trump's agenda. I know we'll have champions in Congress to do that, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things to fight for. Agriculture here, huge, of course. That's our biggest industry. We need to fight for the farmers. They're having big challenges with the price of input and, based on the price of commodities. Mm-hmm. We got to get a farm bill passed, and we have to work with with companies. We have to work with members of Congress to make sure our farmers are supported.
And I appreciate the fact that you're differentiating yourself from the Democrat Party. But let's talk here for a moment, differentiating yourself from the other four candidates now also running for the same position, the primary election. How do you differentiate yourself from the other four?
I think being a lifelong Army veteran makes a difference. Being a combat veteran makes a difference. I'm definitely combat tested. Led folks into combat, came back, didn't back down. I'm pretty fearless. So That's a big deal, I think. The second thing, and this is important, I've been trusted by President Trump. So he has brought me up to serve inside his administration as Acting Assistant Secretary of War for Cyber Policy under Secretary Hegseth. And I was told I was one of the quickest vetting to bring folks in ever. Mm-hmm. I'm trusted by the president. He knows I'm going to stand up for the America First agenda. We're going to enforce our laws without apology. We're going to enforce our borders. We're going to support ICE and Border Patrol. And we're going to, support rebuilding the economy that President Trump has already started to do so.
One of the criticisms about you have been your involvement with Washington, D.C. Do you think that is a negative?
First off, you can't help where the Army sends you, number one.
Right.
Right? And so I've served my country. I raised my right hand, support and defend the Constitution, and go where my leaders told me to go. So got sent to D.C., and then when President Trump called me up to D.C., that's sort of the antithesis of a Washington insider, I think, right? I'm literally in the Trump administration. So somebody saying that, I don't know, sour grapes. But hey, I was honored to have been called up to serve with the president and his administration, and I stand by that with a whole bunch of pride.
We're talking with Laurie Buckhout, and we're wrapping it up here with her this afternoon. I really appreciate her time. Candidate for U.S. House, seeking the Republican nomination, by the way. This is an important issue, and that vote will come due Tuesday evening. As we wrap it up with you, Laurie, of course, obviously you've been traveling across the region. What are you hearing about, your race, but also the race in general, the outlook from the voters in northeastern North Carolina?
We want to push more, get out the vote. We need to get more folks actually out there voting. Off-year elections are never as well attended as presidential years, but we need to get folks out there so, we can hear the voice of the people. That's probably the most important thing I can say. I feel great about my race everywhere I go. It's hugs and handshakes and a whole lot of, hey, I just voted for you, we just voted for you. Being recognized from last year is fantastic. Having just left the Trump administration is fantastic. So people remember who I am. They know that I'm the fighter. They know that I've been up serving with the president. So I think the reaction to my race has been great. But we need to get more folks out there.
All right.
We need to get more folks voting, right?
Right.
So
right.
Get on out there, early voting. Exercise early voting until I think it's Saturday at 3:30.
Yes, exactly.
And then,
yeah.
Right?
All right. 3:30 Saturday is the final day before Tuesday's vote.
That's right.
As we wrap it up, your website?
www.lauriebuckhoutforcongress.com, and there's an H in Buckhout.
Right.
And hey, sorry about that. The doorbell just went off and said the dog.
No problem. Laurie, a pleasure. Welcome to the program, and best of luck. We look forward to talking to you in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Our pleasure.